Hey everybody, this week I want to give you a little rundown on a song that I've loved since I was a kid because of the Beatles, but loved since I was a teen because of Tommy Emmanuel, who that version is credited to. I'm going to step you through it tonight. Well, it's my version of Tommy's version. It's as close as I can get to Tommy. Well, as close as the teenage me could get to Tommy. You know, without being able to Google it and without being able to ask Tommy himself or YouTube clips of Tommy showing me how to play it. That I just played is how I worked it out from the CD. It was one of the first CDs I bought, actually. One of the first CDs when we went that way. You know, I had Surfing with the Alien on vinyl, but then Up From Down Under by Tommy Emmanuel on CD. And loved it, absolutely flogged it. And yeah, sat down and, you know, it was great that I could pause it instead of lifting the stylus off the vinyl over and over and trying to replace it in the right part of the groove. CDs were awesome. I could just pause it and back a little bit, back a little bit. Oh, luxury. So that was what I heard. I've truncated it a little bit. So yeah, let's get into it. It's fairly wintry here in Victoria, Southern Vic. We've just gone into another lockdown. So that's why I'm here in my trackies and my big freeze beanie. Stop MND, let's find a cure. And I'm going to talk to you about Tommy Emmanuel and how Tommy plays that song. So let's just work through it, bearing in mind that, as I say, this is how I heard it. So I reckon that intro, the way I'm playing it is, I'm sliding a major third up to the 10th and 9th frets there, which is part of an A chord, a little, you know, D-shaped A chord up at the 9th and 10th frets. Then I pluck the G string with my thumb, move it back to a G chord, down to an A, a couple of notes out of the A chord. Then I do like a double stop from a 7th fret on the G and B strings to the 5th fret on the same two strings. Then this great little cascading sort of pull-off lick. I reckon this is fairly accurate. This is how Tommy was doing it. So it's this shape here. It's 6 on the A string, which is a D sharp note, F sharp or 4th fret, C or 5th fret on the G string. So that's like or you could call it a G sharp 7. It's a diminished, isn't it? Yeah, it's an A diminished chord. Yeah, A diminished. So then we pick. Now Tommy used a thumb pick, which I just can't get my head around. I didn't know that because I couldn't see him. But yeah, I can clearly hear it now. Anyway, I just play with my thumb and fingers, a bit of a claw hammer technique. So I'm playing my thumb on that A string on the 6th fret, then my first two fingers on the D and G strings, 4th and 5th frets. Then I pull my first finger off to get that open string. Move it down. Like we always do with diminished chords, we move them up or down 3 frets, don't we? I mean, that's what you have to do. It's some sort of rule or policy or an old charter or something. But it works really good in this case because up here you've got that D note is really out of place. It's like, but then here it makes a little blues run. Then it goes into that honky-tonk sort of pattern. Now that's all I'm doing. There's lots of things you can do with that. You can kind of make your bass line like A, F sharp, E. I can't even remember if it sounds like that or not. I think just over years of playing it, I've just ended up with a, which I'm clearly using my thumb for, and just an A7 chord there. We changed to a D7 chord, although it doesn't look like a D7 chord, we've still got the same bass. But now I've got open D, A note, 2nd fret, C note, 1st fret, so it's like a D7 chord, especially if you consider the note that's missing off the top is what we're adding on the bottom. does this cool little G11 thing, which I find really hard to do because I haven't got the thumb pick. So the way I'm playing it is 3, skip a string, 3, 2, 1. So it's basically like an F triad over a G bass note. And then I'm picking thumb, first finger, and those 2 middle fingers together on the G and B strings. But it might be easier, I've just never practiced it enough this way, to go thumb, thumb, and then first 2 fingers. Yeah, it's not bad. And that's probably what Tommy's doing with his thumb pick on there. Now the lick that I usually put in here, I'm playing the A note and an E flat note, a flat 5. So 5th fret on the first string and 4th fret on the second string. Play those together and then pull off to the 3rd fret, a D note. And then a C note on the 5th fret of the G string. Start it with a hammer, little trill if you want. Then we're straight into the melody. Now the bass line of this thing, great piano part that McCartney wrote. So it's A, C, C sharp. So open 3, 4. Next string, same pattern, open 3 and 4. But then we do those quicker and the A note on the 2nd fret of the G string. So that's the main pattern the verse is over. And the melody is like... So I'm not great at just being able to get my thumb going and then play anything over the top of it. I normally have to work it out in a linear fashion, like, okay, what note am I playing with the bass note at this point? So that melody, I'm going C, C sharp, so 1st fret, 2nd fret on the 2nd string. So that part there is pretty cool. Oh, now this part, I know I do completely different to Tommy, but I was kind of proud of finding this way of doing it, so I've left my way in there, which is to include a D and a D diminished, but I just love that we could use the open strings to complete the melody. I'll show you what I mean. So that's a D7 at the 5th fret, so 5, 7, 5, 7, but then I'm leaving the E string open because that's my melody. So I'm playing. So then I go to a D sharp diminished, so I've got 6, 7, 5, but then with the open B to complete the melody. So then it's really hard to get back down to the... So that's just a F, G, full bar chords, A7. Then he does a different version of that lick with a little rake. So it starts on the A note, but same notes going down, although we're skipping the B string this time. 5, 3rd, 5th on the G string, back to the 4th and the 2nd, the 4th and 2nd. Verse again. Climb up to the next section, the B section of the song, or the chorus, or verse, I don't know. So I'm going A, C, C sharp, D. So this whole section is a walking bass line with the melody is and the harmony is just a couple of notes here out of a D chord, an A note and a D note, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 3rd string, 2nd string. So we start with those over the open D, over the C note, 3rd fret on the A string, 2nd fret on the A string, open A string. Then when we get to the G bass note, so we've walked down. When we get there, we retain this D note on the 3rd fret, but we remove our A note from the 2nd fret of the G string to get an open G. And climb back up with our bass line, play the open G as the melody. So, and our bass line goes open A, 1st fret, 2nd fret, then we do a C chord. A C over B, A minor 7 or C over A, then back up, and we do a little hammer from the 1st finger to the 4th finger or 3rd finger on the 3rd fret, 1st to 3rd on the B string, and the open E there. So and I love doing that for effect, just going between my thumb and 1st finger to get those muted little... I think Tommy did more chords in there, like a C, A over, A chord over C, sharp. Now this time I like to keep the bass line descending. I'm sure Tommy did this, I just can't remember the particular order of which he did where. But yeah, instead of climbing back up from the G, so this time we're going to go down F, 1st fret E string, open E, and we can't go any lower, so we'll play the D note, which would be the next note down the scale. So starts the same. Then for the See How They Run, it sounds to me like he's playing a, what is that, a C major 7. I never know what to call it. It's got a 6 and a 7 in it, right? Some better theory nerd than me needs to say what it is. C6 major 7, C major 7 6, C major 6 7. Anyway, it's like 3 3 2 2 0 0. So the melody's on top. See how they. So then the next chord is a B minor 7 flat 5 or a G9 with no bass note. So 2 3 2 3 on the middle 4 strings. Then lose that 3rd fret on the B string to bring in the open B note for the melody. So, and then he does a cool little funky lick. It's like an E7 thing. So I'm holding like 2, 1, and 3, but hammering on that 1st fret. 2 on the D string, so that's an E note. Hammering on a G to G sharp on the G string, and holding the D, the flat 7th on the 3rd fret of the B string. Yeah, it's some funky little thing like that. Tommy's just great at that sort of stuff, and he puts in, you know, so many more grace notes and trills and things than I'm doing, but that sounds cool enough for me. Then, you know, another version of that lick, however you want to mix it up, back into a verse. Now, he does another thing. This part is completely original. It's not part of the original song. It's an addition from Tommy, and it's basically an A7. You could call it an E minor, but I like to think of it as an A9 over an E. But basically, the A7 is open A, 2nd, open G, 2nd. And we're doing that picking again, thumb, 1st finger, middle fingers together. Or thumb, 1st 2 fingers. So you do that, then you just take the 2nd finger off that 2nd fret note of the B string, so now we've only got this one E note on the D string, and our bass note changes to the top string. So it sounds like an E minor when you hear it alone like that, but in the scheme of things, it's really just like a vamp on A7, A9. So then add our G bass note, 3rd fret of the top string, and play the chordal notes again. So I go back into that bit then. So that's really all the components to the song. Obviously, Tommy strings it out and does more of his insane wizardry. You know, check it out. Check out the version on Up From Down Under. Check out all his online versions that people have filmed at gigs over the years. The man is just a national treasure. I just could not love him more. He's unreal. And then the ending, he kind of repeats that intro. Twice as many of those. Twice as many of those. And from memory, I think that's what he's doing. E, F sharp, A, C, B, A. And, you know, an A9 or some sort of A chord to finish it off. And that's how we do it. Yeah, baby. All right, listen, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for patronizing my channel. I really appreciate it. And please say hello. Give me a comment or a request. This is a request. This was this is a request for Mark from JB Hi-Fi, one of the fellas there who helped me out with this new Mac that I'm working on tonight, and very excited to be editing on rather than my 11-year-old iMac that, as lovely as it's been, is just not quite keeping up to the task anymore. So, but she's still here. She's nearby. All right, see you in a week, rockers.